that right there. I mean, that was the beginnings of an album. I feel
that
like
was
be something special.
We need to get an RV
Write
and
that for our
record
kids.
as we go across country.
Yeah.
And release it in Colorado.
Dude,
Right.
I'm telling you, this is what the kids are doing. This is what the kids want.
This is what the kids need.
That's what they need.
Pick up the van life, record records.
All we need is 3 mics and a beatbox with GarageBand and shit.
I'll go ahead and tell you right now. I'm not a fan of GarageBand. Unpopular opinion.
Yeah, it's not that good.
But this thing right here,
This is a blessing.
this little box machine,
Every dollar into this is worth every penny.
every pennies of those dollars.
Rhodes said, we got a problem to solve. And they did.
Speaking of problems solved, 1-800-professional hippies here. Hey, if you don't know us, who are we, Dylon? What do we stand for?
We stand for the people that are just wanting to have a good time while also working their ass off to have a good time.
We ain't talking about just Republicans, you hear?
All of them.
Everyone, all right?
All right.
That happy
do,
middle is somewhere.
Some out here just looking to be found. All right, boys, let's remember our training.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We are some hippies, these are my friends. Come along with me, see how the story ends. We are some hippies, these are my friends. Come along with me, see how the story ends.
Yeah, I like the eagle idea. Just full-blown eagle, American eagle.
Well, poison ivy, I mean, that's just, honestly, that's a tough story. But how are people going to see the finer nuance?
Yeah, that. I mean, it made sense then.
I feel you.
It didn't make, well, it made sense at that moment. It definitely didn't make sense afterwards.
I feel that.
Poison ivy is one of those like mammal to plant species relationship where you're like, that's really tough. Like some fish, they don't fuck with the clownfish. Because of their home.
What if there's some creature out there though, like mushrooms are poisonous to most creatures except us. It's a blessing.
Really?
But then,
Deers fuck up mushrooms.
Yeah.
but I mean, like think of like other mushroom things, like other species of mushrooms, right?
Also poisonous to us.
Yeah. Also poisonous.
Like
you're
eels.
right. I should be a lot more clear on that. But what if a creature out there like just chows down on poison ivy? It's like, hell yeah, I will take down some poison ivy.
I'm sure there is.
Yeah. Can you imagine your insides? They would itch. So you just have the internal itch and you can't.
Do you think it'd be an internal itch, or do you just be like internal bleeding?
What if aliens come here and that's just
It
what it
probably
is?
would.
They just come down and they harvest poison ivy.
Oh,
And
dude,
they-
that would make so much sense. Because that plant sucks, dude.
They put the plant that they like on Earth, and no one wants it. So they're like, oh, we never have to worry about that being harvested.
No, here's the thing. Christians talk about the devil, but what they were talking about is poison ivy. They're just facts.
We were on the backpacking trip I went on later this year. One of the guys just ended up going back to the entrance of the place we were camping at, right? And so we camped out in the woods, backpacking in the woods one extra day, and he went back, and it's like a family campground where you start at. So he ended up hooking up with this chick there that was there with her family, and he ended up falling, like they hooked up on a bench that night, and they ended up falling into a bush. And he was telling this story, and then on the flight back, he ends up starting to break out in massive hives, and he's like, what the fuck? And he ended up getting poison sumus out there, which is like, it turns into blisters. But then I started noticing where it was popping up at, and like the wrists, his like neck, his waist, his like shoulder. And I was like, hey buddy, was she grabbing you in all these different areas? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, is there a certain area right now that's just awful? He was like, and I was like, didn't you fall into a bush? And I was like, what about her? Does he know? What about her? Is she doing it? And he's like, I didn't get her number. I have no clue.
Oh,
Dude, that's horrible.
He was. I had to get him
Oh.
Benadryl, like everything. He was breaking out massive at hives in all the wrong, worst places.
Well, dude, you want to know even worse? With the same plant, a buddy of mine, when he was younger, he was like 14, 15, he was in the woods, and he pooped in the woods and was just like in an experience. He's like trying to be a man. He's trying to embrace being a man, and he wiped his butt with leaves, and he didn't understand anything, and he wiped his butt with poison sumac. Or I think it was
sumac. I think it's
yeah,
sumac.
sumac is what it is. And yeah, you can only imagine. Can you? I mean, literally in his butthole, in his butt, everything. Just
That'll ruin a trip real quick.
deep as he could get it, trying to get that dookie off.
Trauma, dude.
Traumatized. Put me in a coma till it's gone.
No, for real, dude. That's like, and then imagine, then you still have to use the restroom. You still have to like.
Then when you're shitting, it like feels good because then it's scratching it on the way out. You're like, oh, thank God.
With some sick world, maybe you get a second or two of feel good, and then all the shit that follows. Oh God. Anyway, on to a different note. I'll still direct that conversation.
Oh, that's rough, man.
Yeah, it sure is. Shout out to John, bro. I'm sorry, dog. Tough story, dude.
That lives with you for a lifetime. Memory and everyone getting you.
Dude, it's funny what little childhood trauma will do. Like,
That's
I do
right.
not play around when it comes to sunscreen. I got blood blistered so bad on the beach one day. I was like maybe 8 or 9.
Yeah, I feel that.
But like, you can't sleep because you can't turn.
You can't
You're just,
move. You're just like
Yeah,
crunchy.
I've had it pretty bad a few times, like full on blisters on the sides.
It took one time. I mean, I have no shame. I will find it anywhere. Ask for it. Don't care.
And it isn't until you get like it really bad. You're like, I don't need sunscreen. I'll be fine. And then you get it one time real bad, and like, oh,
Well, it's actually super interesting how that works. You know, same thing like what happened with like you do it with alcohol or whatever. Like you have that one, you know, that drink and like, you fuck it up way too much, and then you're like, I won't ever drink that shit ever again.
what is that for y'all? Mine is Southern Comfort. I can't touch that anymore.
For me, it's Fireball.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't. I
I
can't.
actually like Fireball.
So one time on spring break, I nearly cleared like. Well, I'm sure I shared some shots with everybody, but I had like a half gallon of that shit, and like I ended up
I'll do it.
face down on the concrete on the driveway. People woke up and put me on Snapchat, and I was like passed out face down,
I'll do it.
and I had literally a shot left in the bottle. One shot left. I was like, God damn. So yeah, I shake thinking about that shit. Maybe that was like 10 years ago. So maybe at this point I could.
That's me with dipping too. When I was younger, I used to like to do it, but then we did like a challenge, like who could do the most, and I took a half a can of like that Copenhagen wintergreen and put it in there, and I let it sit for a while, and then like I got like the cold sweats, body shakes. Ever since then, I can't put one in now.
That's a lot of nicotine.
Which I guess you could look at as a positive. I'm not doing that anymore. But then again, every now and then I try it, and it's like, nah, we're not doing it.
No, same, yeah.
I don't know if I have. I mean, tequila in general is kind of one of those things I don't gravitate towards. I don't mind it. Like if everyone's doing tequila shots, sure. But like, I've just had so many experiences where I was like, wow, I mean, that wasn't a nuclear disaster, but pretty close.
100%.
Pretty close.
I'll be honest. I really haven't had many experiences with tequila since like when I was a younger adult, where I didn't like black out.
Yeah, I don't
It was
remember.
like-
I don't
it was
remember
like-
the experiences.
100%. It was like when tequila would come out, it was just this thing that happened that I would just end up blacked out. I would end up like,
Yep, right. And so like some people have like horror stories. I don't really have any. Well, I don't remember either. So
that is the thing right there.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I've heard some stories. I'm like, that doesn't sound great.
Well, as long
but-
as everyone in the group is doing it, then there's no one that could have stories against you, right? We're all in it together in that situation.
everyone that has known me has leverage on me, probably for some reason or another, some kind of thing. Like when they're in a certain era in my life. So like tequila was just a piece of that mosaic. You know,
piece of the puzzle, piece of the artwork.
It's not really a shiny one either. It's like a
it's
little dirt on it.
in the form of it's a new age contemporary art piece called blackmail. It just
Really looks good in times of trouble. It just pops up and
You get to the higher power and you go, and they're like, "See that down there, buddy?
that's right.
That's we'll get to that in a minute. That's
Yeah.
gonna take a while.
you did all that in one lifetime.
Oh, that was 1 year? What?
What?
He like licks it. He flips it. Oh, we're getting there.
Hold on. We got to
Wait till chapter 30.
Yeah, we're still on chapter fucking 21 right now, bro. Take a seat. We got a chance. We got some time.
Dude, I hope God has a sense of humor. That is all I'm asking for.
100%.
You know,
100%.
Dude, you don't live for fucking 4 billion years making all this shit happen and not be able to laugh. You think fucking Sloth's game here and he wasn't just chuckling as he did that shit?
dude's a puppet weirds and shit. Like,
He was just needing he wanted his own reality show is really what it was. He was like, I'll just make my own. There's not a good enough one out there. He's like the
this
star.
This is a pretty good one. I gotta admit, this is a pretty good one.
He was like competing with his buddies. Like, oh, we'll make it. We'll see who can make the best one. Let's bet on it. Who get the most ratings?
Like we're all water monkeys. What do they call them? The little krill.
Something monkeys. Yeah.
Sea monkeys?
Sea monkeys. Yeah.
We are the sea monkeys.
You don't really know what they are. They're just alive.
Living.
Just give them some food every now and then. They'll be fine.
That's all
sorry,
I
folks.
need. A little food and water. Sunshine.
Jesus goes down there like a little spice.
That's it.
Dude, I bet Jesus was a savage.
I think he was just a hippie, man. I think he was just a solid hippie back then.
You don't have your story written in history and not be a savage.
Savage, and it's just a solid hippie.
Savage.
Here's the thing. We know who writes history. And it is not the truth. It is not the people who actually save. It's the people who choose to write history. Choose to be like, no, this sounds good. This makes this work. I'm just saying.
Well, the Bible's a really good one. Do you know our Lord and Savior, Michael?
There's some wisdom there. Dude, have you heard the good news?
Hold on. Do you have a personal relationship with our Lord and Savior?
Please. In fact, I'm doubting. Would you share with me? Would you share with me? The words of wisdom that will lead me to the cross. I need to know.
Come, brother. I'm a fisher of men.
This is fucked up, dude.
Go get the bread.
Oh, forgive, man.
Start breaking the bread.
I need some wine for this shit. Give me some of
Oh,
that.
yo, big fan. Big ups.
We got some stuff in there. You'll definitely meet God, so don't worry about it.
Too bad now it's not till fucking June.
By the way, I read earlier today that Will Smith, after his breakup with Jada, went on a ayahuasca trip and did it 14 times.
Wait, Will Smith and Jada broke up?
And then they got back together, but he came
When
out
she
in
was
his
in
book.
the entanglement.
When in her entanglement, he wrote in his book that it came out recently, he went and did ayahuasca 14 times
Well, why not?
back to back to figure his shit out.
Why not?
That's a lot, but yeah, I could see that.
When you got the time, dude, you're just like, round it.
Yeah, I mean, what
Bring it
time span was that?
He was like, I was in the galaxies far, far away. I was not here whatsoever.
Yeah.
I don't know when that was. I just remember reading that earlier today.
Yeah, I'm just curious over like what time span, but yeah, I mean,
14 days straight.
I don't know.
your body. I mean, it's not something I would think he would do, but
Isn't it like, yeah, you do it like every other day?
yeah,
You're doing it?
When we go to a ceremony, we will not do it 5 days in a row.
No.
Okay.
We'll do it like 5 days out of 7.
Okay.
So you
Take
get
a
a break
break.
in.
Go walk around the jungle.
You get a break
Camp in
there.
it.
Makes sense. I don't
Look
know.
at some
I don't know
ants.
how that shit works.
Go look at some ants.
Yeah.
Go find some cheetahs. Some leopards, I mean.
Leopards and poodles. What?
I'm looking forward. I'm glad we are pushing forward with it.
Making
Getting it to happen.
forward progress.
Making forward progress.
The ayahuasca trip is what is in discussion right now.
Yeah. I am looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the ayahuasca trip. Really am. I'm like almost more excited just to camp out in the jungle too.
I'm more excited for the drugs.
It's not a drug.
Medicine.
It's a medicine.
Medicine.
Michael.
Just
Michael.
like Oxycontin. Medicine. Right.
What? You're gonna bring OxyContin to the Amazon?
All right, clearly not. I'm
You're gonna bargain with the Frodes.
You need some Jesus in your life. Jesus, come on, man.
Dude,
You're
I'm
gonna bargain with
begging for
Jesus.
the word.
You're gonna swap him some Percocets.
Hey,
The Lord.
If someone out there,
Is that,
if someone out there is wanting to save me,
is that where you want to be when he comes back?
Careful.
find me on Instagram, Colton DM. I'm looking for savings. I need Jesus. Please help
You
me.
need a lot of knocks on your doors.
That happens to be your Venmo as well, correct?
That's a good direction to take that for sure.
Yeah. Right. What would the Lord want? At Colton DM. Find me on Cash App, PayPal, Venmo.
All proceeds after 90% of it goes to me will go to the community.
Community being me and my dreams. You're part of those dreams. Rent your space in my dreams now for free.
God does want me to have my own private jet. I can't do God's work.
It's the Lord
If
and
I
Savior.
if I do not, I can't
wrong.
be
It's
on
wrong
with
if I
those.
don't.
There are
It's wrong if I
demons
don't.
on
You
the
know,
Delta Airlines.
So many demons.
I need to have my
Oh
own
my Lord.
private jet.
Hey, it would appear like you are maybe mocking a good Lord Savior servant who opens that
No.
happen to own 4 or 5 jets.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. that-
100%.
that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's his name? He just
Man, that guy's got some wicked eyeballs.
They have
some scary
televangelists,
eyeballs.
and they all got on TV and like on their own show, and we're like
You're just
coming.
catching me off guard,
We
honey.
need it. There's demons on those flights. We can't.
Demons.
They're attacking me, and I can't do my prayers.
Who's the guy that's got the mega church in New Orleans?
Joel
Joel
Osteen. Joel, the hurricane's coming. We got to open up for the homeless. Fuck them homeless. Oh, Joel, all right.
They're gonna come in and they're gonna damage the Lord's house.
They're going to come in, damage the doors, lock the doors,
Lock them.
lock them up.
That's pretty fucked up.
That's what he did.
Damn sure did.
Exactly like that.
It's pretty fucked
And
up.
then came back in Sunday and said, we need money to go to funding this location that I own tax-free.
Well, he was just making sure he was watching his bottom line. You know, he's got mouths to feed. He's got a mansion to mortgage to pay. He's got to make sure that this doesn't cut into his bottom line. I mean, Jesus is
Dude,
good.
that'd be really unfortunate if it did.
100%. He's got to make sure that people understand that Jesus is good.
He
but
worked
also-
hard for it, right?
He worked hard.
And he lived by the way Lord wanted, so the Lord has blessed him.
No, we are mocking him.
He
but
doesn't
see,
pass on
I wouldn't want to give
the
up my salary
blessings.
for.
He's like, no, the blessings are mine. I don't pass those on. I earned these.
I think he's a good man.
I think he has good intention. I think he's just looking at his like literally. When I say that, it's a joke, but at the same time, think about it. You got an organization. You're serving 20,000 people, and they're expected to show up a certain thing. You do this, they could totally throw off all that, which is your money producer. So they're not showing up to church. You're not getting tithed. You're not being able to. I mean, shit.
Product.
Did you see the call out to Elon Musk? One of the politicians did.
Fuck yeah. He said, "You make that an open source fucking funding." He
Tell
said,
me how to do it. You'll take my money.
He said, "I will literally sell 10% of Tesla stock and drop like $6 billion to end world hunger. You just open source that funding. You tell me how you're gonna. You tell everyone how you're gonna spend it, and I'll do it right now."
I'll do it right now.
I was like, "Hell yeah!" Please, Elon.
Way to just put them in their place.
Yeah.
Loved it. Like, why not? Why are you going after him? Go after Joel Osteen.
Well, and here's the thing: if nobody takes him up on that, that's the craziest shit in the world.
I
Well,
mean,
it
that's
wasn't
why he
to
did that, because he
end
knew
world hunger. By the way, it was like to make an effort towards whatever. It was taken out of context.
He said with this amount of money from Elon Musk, we can literally solve world hunger problems.
No, he didn't. I'm telling you that's factually inaccurate. He said we could save 42 million lives on the brink of starvation.
That sounds like saving world hunger problems to me.
I think there's a difference between saving or solving world hunger and saving 42 million lives for a year.
I guess we got to get our S words correct here.
Yeah, I mean,
Solving and saving.
the end of that
Saviors.
year. The end of that year, there's still
They're still going to be hungry.
42 million people who are hungry.
It's like,
they're not
we fed
done.
them. We fed them tonight. What about tomorrow? Yeah.
No,
Right.
that 6 billion will feed all 42 million. for a whole night.
It's
They all get a breakfast and a lunch and a dinner.
You feed them.
All included.
You feed them, and then the next day you give them Tupperware with all the leftovers. They're like, what? No Tupperware leftovers.
They even get a dessert, all included for the $6 billion.
We threw in a hard brownie for you.
Can you imagine having so much money that you're throwing around bets with billions of dollars?
Now, here's the thing.
Billions of dollars.
Billions.
Big dick money.
And billions. And billions.
I'll take that bet. I'll just go into.
How many billions does an aircraft carrier cost to build?
I don't think it even takes
I don't
billions.
think it's billions. I think it's hundreds of millions.
Yeah. I don't even think the world's most expensive plane is in the billion. That's how crazy that is.
I think the most expensive aircraft carrier would be more expensive than the plane.
Do you have your phone on you?
Yeah.
Can you look up?
Wow, we actually have someone that can look up something.
Right,
Yes.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious how much it costs to
Pull that shit up, Jamie.
build an aircraft carrier. Because when you think about like
It is a city. Floating cities. Billions and billions. They got Yeah?
The USS Gerald R. Ford cost $13.3 billion for the Navy to build.
That's what I thought.
It's
That's
the Navy's most advanced aircraft carrier.
right.
No expenses.
$13.3 billion. Hey, there's nothing too expensive for the U.S. military.
Dude.
We will spare
think about
no
how much
expense.
Fucking money that is. $13 billion.
$13.3 billion.
That's double the amount of money it would have taken to solve the world's hunger problems.
The point three. Fucking, we want to blow some shit up instead. Oh my god,
Dude.
No, here's the thing. Point three of that. When they're talking about the point, that's $300 million.
Yeah,
$300 million.
Point three.
Point three. 13.3.
Yeah.
That's a lot of weed.
That is a life supply of weed for our nation.
I think that's more. That's for my kids and their kids.
That's all the weed you could ever need. That's
all you need in your
all
lifetime.
the drugs. You want to have a serious drug habit? Go take it to the grave, and you won't even put a dent in that amount of money.
I don't know. I could spend $300 million pretty fucking quick.
Trying to think of what it would be. Car. I think I would spend it on tons of houses. Just buy up everything
Big
for
boat.
$300 million.
Really big boat.
I mean,
That's
Jeff's
the
boat
billion.
was like 450 billion. Or no, 450 million. It wasn't billion. Yeah, with what 13.3 billion.
That's an aircraft carrier. I mean, it makes sense. It comes with jets.
You're right. It comes with its own jets.
It goes with an elevator for the jets.
Yeah.
Right, hold on, I forgot.
Helicopters.
Jets plural with an S. You're right. Helicopters.
It's got like 5 kitchens,
all the big guns.
bunch of toilets.
Yeah, nuclear reactor.
Probably does have a nuke on it. A couple nukes you could shoot off.
Oh, definitely.
Couple libraries.
I mean, if a nuke's not going to be an aircraft carrier, where else would it be?
Submarine.
Buried deep in the ground. Or
Probably
something.
submarine.
Submarines. That's like
that makes more sense.
they have
make
submarines deep down so they can't find that sucker.
Yeah, you know where the USS is. You would not put a nuke on that shit. Those are in some undisclosed.
That thing is in the Mariana Trench in a submarine.
That is true.
Or no, it's in like some field in Kansas, in the middle of nowhere, with a little slit that just would open and it's just under the ground.
Do you think they still do that? Because those silos are everywhere from back in the Cold War, but they're pretty empty. I mean, people buy them and turn them into things now.
Yeah,
So
some of them.
You think they're still out there?
100%. Are you kidding me?
Obama signed something, so we've radically reduced our nuclear. I mean, we still have like thousands of nuclear warheads.
What if we were on that Appalachian Trail tripping, and then we just walked up on to a nuclear warhead, and then start seeing it open? We're like, wait a minute,
Well, I'd actually
what's
feel
going on right now?
safer there, because ultimately
It is launching from there.
that bitch is launching
It's
from
not-
the point.
it's not happening
This isn't
here.
blowing up here, so I'm like, fuck, this is awkward, but of all the places I could be, this ain't the end of the world.
Sucks. Whoever's on the end
you
of
just
that.
open the silo door and go in. You start
Close
walking.
it. Yeah.
All
Close
right.
it back up. Boop. And then you get down to the bottom, the guy that pressed the button's like, that was a good idea.
Good idea, dude. He's like, I saw you coming, man. I was trying
I had to get it out. Quick.
Man, that would really suck, dude. If we started launching nukes or other people started launching nukes, it's like
Game over.
You just see it going up. You're like, huh.
I mean, it's
That's all you can
imagine
do.
that feeling in the pit of your stomach.
well, like 5-10 nukes launched off, which one could easily turn into 5 or 10, would turn into a totally different world. I mean,
Totally different.
everything would shift. Like,
Everything.
resources would everything would just totally shift, and I'm here for it. I
5.
feel like when I was younger, I prepped. I watched so many fucking post-apocalyptic things. I know the resources to look for. I know what to do.
Would you eat people?
Not yet.
Good answer. Good answer. I don't think you can trust somebody that off the rip would say yes.
Did we have this conversation?
I don't think I have.
I think
but
we did on the podcast way back. That one might not have been posted. What if we launched the nuke and every other place also has a defense mechanism, and then they're launching their own nuke, and then it's just a bright fireworks sky of nukes.
We've all seen the graphic of that happening in some movie or whatever, where you think all the nukes just crossing over, and then everybody's just.
But then each one has its own defense system to be like, all right, well, we can't let that thing land here. Blow it up before it starts coming back down.
yeah,
think
so
if
we
they
don't
launch-
have that.
you think if
And
they
Russia
launch-
has the Satan too.
I was about to say, you
Courteous
think
of
if
Austin telling us that, yeah.
they launched Satan 2,
Satan too.
Satan
coming in
too.
at Mach 45 or whatever the fuck,
Yeah.
dropping down 10 nukes. You think we're gonna be like, oh yeah, let me throw my lasers at them. Got him, guys.
The
Colton
Statue of Liberty just has laser nipples.
out of the whole thing of the fucking thing she's holding. It's just a massive laser
We're
machine.
saved, everybody.
Colton's out there with the laser machine. Trying to take it
Just
out.
like riding on a
45.
jet.
That's right. Mach 45 got nothing on our lasers. Pachoo.
It's Independence Day all over.
So just to clarify, Mach, I think they come in at Mach 21. So Mach 1 is 800 miles an hour. That's the speed of sound, right?
I don't even know. Anything faster than one blows my mind.
Wait, Mach.
What is the speed of sound? It's like 800 miles an hour, somewhere around there.
I have no clue. Sounds right.
Pretty sure it's somewhere around there. So
Pull that shit up.
21 times faster than that.
Mach 1 is 767 miles per hour.
I'm pretty fucking close. Pretty fucking close.
That's almost as fast as Henry Ruggs in his Corvette.
Yeah. Wow. That's
Sorry,
a very
too-
culturally relevant joke right now.
Sorry, too soon.
Ooh.
All right, if Mach 21 is right, that can't be right.
What?
That's 16,112 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Is Mach 1?
Well, look
No,
up how
Mach
fast
21.
does Satan 2 go? So Satan 2 is Russia's premier nuclear warhead. And they damn sure did make that go as fast as fuck.
we just don't want you to stop it.
And let us know.
Oh, no, they're not joking. Yeah. Mach 20.7, 25,000.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So 15,880 miles per hour
Yeah,
is the maximum speed.
right.
Yeah.
So it goes up to space
hey, we can just shoot our little lasers at that puppy.
and it deploys, and 16 of them come out. Come raining down at 15.
I like to think
1,000
that
miles per
America has
hour.
had something like super secret and they haven't released, and then Russia thinks they're going to win, and then America just all of Wyoming opens up.
This is why they say Wyoming doesn't exist. Keep it off the map.
And this massive thing just launches. It's
Some
actually
mass-
a transformer, just grabs it out of the sky, boop, throws it back.
We love to think
Yeah.
America is set up like that, don't we?
But it's not.
Freedom.
I have seen Iron Giant. It's real.
I have.
I mean, it is.
Sasquatch, so.
It's weird to think about living in a world where America isn't the premier superpower. Like the citizens born into the British Empire or the Roman Empire or the Mongols or the Chinese Empire. Like these amazing empires where they didn't know anything outside of their country being the fucking strong man.
Are we the newest empire? Like out of all the countries, are we the newest one?
Yeah, I mean, I would think so, right?
Yeah.
empire, like world power.
Yeah, like a world powered, strong. Like, I mean, China's been pretty there for a long time. Russia, that whole territory, that's been all changing, but pretty much kind of the same for a while. And then Britain, and then these people over here from Britain were just like, nah.
Nah.
We're done with that one.
I'm cool. Thanks, bro.
That.
And that's why I think about it sometimes when, like, who could really take over the world? Because you'll get so spread out that people will just come up with their own thing. They're like, oh, I don't need to listen to that guy anymore. He's that far away. They are that far away. I don't.
Water seems to do a really good job of creating that line.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, water is just like the ultimate boundary line.
That's right. It says, "This is mine. That is yours."
Mm-hmm.
And then we fight wars across it just to say,
sure do.
I want something more of that, actually. In fact, I'm feeling like there's more that should be mine. So,
That over there should be mine.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, you don't
Like
that?
now, dude, like just stay over there.
They come
No.
to you and they're like, sir, you have now won the entire world. But there is this one little, take it.
That's right.
I want that island.
Here's the
It's
thing.
mine now.
I feel like that's true.
Can you imagine like
Yeah.
settling the West, like being a family that headed west to claim land
Oh, that gold.
and had to like run in and deal with Indians,
Mm.
or just like other people trying to like build on your shit? How would someone claim land back in the day? How do you claim thousands of acres?
Stake it down.
Stake it
the
down.
stake law.
You fucking.
If as long as you stake down your stakes in that perimeter, that is now your land. That was the law back then.
And I know that, but like, how do you not have overlying stakes? People are traveling by horseback.
You stand there and you go, excuse me, sir.
Excuse me, sir. You have put your pike, your stick in my land.
My gun is bigger than your gun.
That's right, and I will oust you if it must come to that.
But you see what I'm saying? Like, how did they actually like?
Here's the thing. They were neighbors.
It was many
fucking chatted.
many wars.
They relied on each other. No, think about this.
Many wars.
They relied on one another. There was no way that you were going to get through life if you did not lean on your neighbors. There was no like.
I'm talking about the actual drawing of the property line,
Here's the
not this
thing,
like
the drawing of the fucking line comes because you're like, I don't really give a fuck. You're like,
they all gave a fuck.
I doubt it.
Who
When you
wouldn't
got
give a
100
fuck?
acres, they got 100 acres, and we're talking about a little line here.
Okay, what's the difference between 100 and 300 acres? How do you know?
Because
How are you going to measure that when you're on horseback is what I'm saying. How are you going to find where all the corners of your property and someone else's property are?
This simple white man.
They probably measured it. Yeah, they probably had the rolling wheel is a pretty simple measuring tool they had back then.
Sure, but how are you even going to know where the stakes are?
You stake it in the ground.
You make it noticeable.
How far do you think you can see? How many? When you say 100 acres, do you conceptually do you understand how large that is?
Here's I don't know if this will help as an example. So my family owned most of Florida for a long ass time. Besides working with the Native Americans that were here,
Subtle
and we
flex,
had
but okay.
we had
Subtle flex. Okay.
we had
my family owned Florida.
a lot,
My family owned
ton of South
Florida.
Ton of South Florida, and we ran the cattle up and down, right? So the cattle, that's why I did the branding. You knew what your property was in general, but the property lines were all mixing together, and the cattle were running over the property lines, right? So that's why you had the cattle running. So I get your point of like, how do you truly know? Well, the stakes are in place. Well, yeah, someone could come also and just throw the stakes off into the direction. Now, how do I remember what my location was? But then you also see from it always comes up every now and then. There's border rocks. So like, yeah, the stakes can be moved, but there are property markers from rocks from like the 1700s back then. And every now and then you get the news someone it got moved or something, and then it becomes a situation with property outlining for property taxes. But yeah, I mean, like, I get where you're coming from on it, but then like there were also many war battles on property back then too.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
battle wars.
I like that tree. That tree is on my property.
Here's the thing. I do come very fond of trees.
Many men.
And if a man tried to come and say that tree was his tree,
Many men.
when I knew it was my tree,
Yeah, because then they'll start encroaching, right? Like,
I'd fucking kill him.
Kill him.
I'd take a
Kill him
gun
dead.
and I'd shoot him down.
yeah,
Do we have a noise
He got
for
a
that?
family. He's got a wife. I don't care. That tree is my tree.
yeah. You're like, I want to be buried underneath that tree. Now you're gonna take that tree. from me. I think produces apples.
He's not getting buried under that tree. Hell no. Hell no. He's going far away because that's my tree.
He's getting buried in the swamp.
That's right.
You know, so I don't understand how people literally like settled in the Northeast back in the day. It just blows my mind. Like dealing with all that snow and cold.
Didn't we buy Manhattan for like some beads and stuff from the Native Americans?
And I think it's less about that. It's more about just the first place we landed. So it was like Plymouth was like a big port. And so it's like that was just the first place that I think
ours now.
I think it was like you just wandering across the ocean, you land somewhere, and that just happened to be where people were landing. Because who the fuck would choose that?
I would immediately go south.
Unless you don't understand.
Unless you don't understand.
Right. But
I'd want to get the fuck out of there.
100%. Are you kidding me? Without like controlled air, like you're literally living in that climate.
And imagine you just settled it. You don't know where your food's at. You don't have any shelter.
Nothing.
Yeah, you definitely ran out of everything on the way over. Yeah. For sure.
You're in a
Probably
new
got
world.
Skeevers.
Fucking.
Why not go to Florida?
And you get here, you can't take out the Native Americans when you get here. You kind of have to be like, hey guys, we kind of need some help.
I mean, all you gotta do is cough on them a couple times, and they'll take care of that.
Just have them give you some food while you're so tired. You're like, Chew.
I'll give you some
so
food.
Sorry about that.
Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. Yeah, go talk to your kids now. Bye bye.
God, can you imagine being on the Mayflower?
Why?
Just such a long journey.
It'd be dirty.
You don't even know. You don't even know.
No idea.
You don't know about hurricanes. You don't know about the things that come up through. You don't know what's going on.
Oh,
you don't know how many ships tried and didn't actually land.
And then, yeah, maybe Columbus was the first one, or that general idea.
Columbus didn't even land in the U.S. He landed in those islands underneath.
That's right. Yeah, he landed like way down there.
But he wasn't even the one that discovered it. He's just the asshole that fucking.
By the way, the Vikings were discovered over here now. Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah. Like predates the idea of like Columbus and some of the other people that we thought like by like 700-800 years, the Vikings were in America.
Go Vikings.
I don't even understand like how our history books can stand on the fact that we were like Columbus was the first one that settled there. Like there was literally people living here. There was like all sorts of traces of people being here. There was trade that was already happening from South America and shit. Like,
well, he's just saying that was history books are saying like he was the first one to discover it from
Europe.
Yeah.
Was he the first one to get here and make it back? Because he also once he made it back, that's when it came out.
Here's the thing: you landed in America. Who would go back? I'd be like, "Are you kidding?" I mean, the East Coast probably doesn't look that good, but if you landed on the West Coast, can you imagine
where he landed?
That would look?
He landed in like tropical paradise.
That's true. He did. He landed in like Haiti and like Dominican Republic.
The first to land in Florida was right up the road here, and there's like a whole park and everything that you can look at that. And they definitely say like most of the people died once they came into Florida. They were getting messed up by hurricanes, Native Americans, bugs, everything was just
Florida is a very shitty place to live.
There's no way you'd want to live in Florida either.
They adventured all the way up to North Florida into southern Georgia, and then we're getting nowhere, and then decided to start coming back down.
I can't tell. If there was no central air, would you rather be in Florida or New York?
That was in the 1950s, Florida. By the way. That is not that long ago.
Florida. Are you even what? Florida.
If there's no central air, okay. The rich people came here when it got cold. That's who was the rich guy? Who was the rich guy that ran like the resorts in Florida back in the day? He had like 3 or 4 of them. He had the
Walt
rail.
Disney?
No, not Walt Disney. Before him, he ran the rail line going all the way down to the Key West.
Donald Trump.
Papa Trump.
Daddy Trump.
I forgot his name, but anyway, there was people during the winter that would come down. The rich people would come down here with their carriages. And,
in winter that makes sense, but in the summer it is literally miserable.
But the summer people, no one that are rich in the summer are going up there. It's just the winter people coming down here. If you can stand the heat, you'll be fine.
I don't want to stand the heat.
But this isn't also where business was being made. Like the north is where like
you can't think
big
when it's 100
corporations
degrees.
were.
When you're sweating, you're thinking about living. You're not thinking about business.
I just can't imagine living in that type of climate and you don't have like any real way of controlling the climate. Like,
You're just dealing with it.
yeah, I mean, it's just like the elements are constantly coming after you.
You have to find things to burn, hopefully, to stay warm.
Nice clothes. Your blankets.
Hopefully you got some nice clothes and blankets. You're killing a deer just to get some fur, you know?
Yeah, dude.
Your body's also just used to it. Like, your body has a pretty amazing way of adjusting. We're just soft. We've had heat and AC our whole life.
yeah.
Was it the day after tomorrow? They were trying to survive in the library, burning books.
Yep.
What a dream.
What a treat.
Time. To
Hopefully
be
they're
alive.
one-of-one copies.
Oh, yeah, dude. Just original rares.
Yes.
Oh, please. Just.
Someone was like, we got this on digital now, right? Yeah. All right, cool.
It's so good.
What do we burn? Grab the Harry Potter.
Nothing like that rare old pages. Just.
Can you imagine? So what was the library? Was it the Library of Alexandria? Or
Alexander Hamilton. Library of either Alexander Hamilton or Andrea.
That'll hurt your
remember.
heart right there. Every time you hear that story, it just.
It's
what?
a whole history
A
mean,
1,000
literally-
years?
gone.
Thousands of years of wisdom. I mean, all intelligence probably that we don't have to this day.
But someone was outside that thing going with a big smile like, there goes all my blackmail. Someone had it on record in there.
I think the guy that like ordered all of that to be burned was like, yes, my God has won. It must have been very like simple-minded, but thinking about like what their God had accomplished.
We did it, guys. We burned it down.
No more science here. Flat Earth and Jesus. That's
Think
all we
about how
need.
the church used to deal with scientists. They used to kill them
Heretics.
all the time.
That's right. Oh, you think that we're not the center of the universe? You're dead.
You're done.
Literally, we are going to kill you now.
Hey, you're crazy. And a witch.
And it's just accepted that the church was like a big mob scene, like a big time, like you didn't fuck with God.
You don't fuck with God.
The
We
Pope.
don't fuck with you. You're dead.
It's crazy, dude.
We'll also diddle your kids a little bit. Just a little bit. We're gonna show them the
Praise
pathway to
Jesus.
We're gonna show them the hole to Jesus, the glory hole, the glorious.
If you just come into this box next to us, close the door,
Oh
we'll have a little time.
Michael.
That's right. They would come in there. That's often what happened.
Just admit your sins.
Admit your
Stick it
sins.
in and admit your sins.
That's right. Right in the holy hole.
Right here.
Right in the
I
hole.
don't get uncomfortable often. I tell you what, we found myself.
That's what did it.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, dude. That's just for face right here because we're being recorded. This guy can eat way
That
more.
would be nothing. He would be doubling down.
That's what I'm saying.
No,
Look at him
no.
now.
Yeah.
Oh.
He'd be like, slap some mayonnaise on it.
Oh, that's all you need, a little hot sauce.
So I have a really funny story. So in middle school, my buddy and I went and had a sleepover at a friend's house, and I'm just going to leave names out of it because it's kind of fucked up. So my buddy goes in the shower, and me and my other friend, we're sitting in the computer, and we're like, you know what? Let's fuck with this Facebook or MySpace, whatever it was at the time. And one of our teachers, Mr. Cruz, was friends with us and like did all the like volunteer stuff for the car races or whatever. So you get volunteer hours. And I went on my buddy's profile and we're just being funny and like told Mr. Cruz like, hey, I'm gay. I need to come out to somebody. Mr. Cruz had a conversation, whatever. I totally forgot. We went on, played video games. So the next day at school, Mr. Cruz stopped Steven and was like, hey, your secret's safe with me. He's like, secret
Oh, no.
about what? And he was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, no, what you sent me? He's like, was that you? And so like, I guess they figured out. And he was like, what the fuck did you say to him? I was like, oh, I'm so sorry, dude. Like I said you were gay. I forgot to tell him it was a joke, whatever. It was like funny, haha, prank. Okay. So that was like 7th, 8th grade. I'm a sophomore or junior in college and I get a text like, holy shit, you can't believe this. Mr. Cruz had been caught sexually molesting 12 boys in the storage containers across the street from our school.
Oh my god.
And I was like,
Oh my god.
how fucking crazy is
Wait,
that?
hold on. Were they students?
Yeah. Dude, I did a Cutco appointment for this dude.
Wait, so this dude talked 12 boys
12.
into being touched sexually.
Yeah. That's the amount that like came forward. Who knows if there's more?
Wait,
Oh
so
my God.
12 different boys
12
were
different.
okay with a man.
Okay, what do you mean okay? Like they were sexually abused. Like
Like, how did... So is he, like, holding, like, grades and shit over it?
probably.
Oh, God.
Who knows?
That's
Who knows, dude?
That's dark.
You almost put him into an awful place.
Right? Isn't that crazy?
You almost
To
changed
think-
someone's
to think-
life
to think
entirely.
the butterfly effect. How close you are to just
Or I bet you he got probably sketched out by that. I wonder if he was, like...
who knows?
Maybe he's like, oh, these kids know.
Who knows,
These
dude?
kids know, and they're trying to bait me right now type shit.
Yeah, man.
Slap a little mayonnaise on it.
Tricky.
That's right, with a little hot sauce. A little pepper with some garlic.
Yeah, so he did have like a small TV in there, a bed, sex toys.
What?
Yeah.
Like a whole
The
thing?
whole thing, yeah.
And it was like across the street.
Yes.
What the fuck?
Well, I mean, you don't have to drive all the way back to your house. It's just easier to pop across the street just to get a little diddle done, you know?
Can you imagine?
Oh, God.
Fuck.
He built the Roadcaster version of his thing.
Oh my god.
Ow, I just hit my heel. Oh, dude, this poor man.
Poor man.
Is he in
Who?
prison?
Poor man.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah, fucking
Not
piece
actually
of
a
shit.
poor man. I'm just saying, like, is he in prison?
Yes.
I hope
good.
so.
Good riddance.
I hope
The
so.
little
Fuck.
diddle do, dude. Hey, Mr. Diddle Do.
Change the conversation up a little bit.
I wonder if
Yeah,
any
well,
of
that
those
was about as light and fluffy as I got.
I wonder if any of those students have gone to
He's
visit
like,
him.
they made it awkward for me. I got to double down on this one.
You know,
Dang, that's crazy.
isn't that crazy?
I'm more dumbfounded that he found 12 high school boys that were down to get
I said the
touched
same
by
thing.
a man.
Also that, too. Yeah.
Well, it's
How
like
old are you?
there's just like no leverage you could hold over me. There's like not even.
Give me a bad grade. I'm like, fuck.
Give me a
At that
bad grade. Are you
point.
kidding me? I would know how like you would know that you could.
I don't think. I mean, look, I don't think it's it's not hard to manipulate a kid, right? And he's a middle school teacher, so you think like, I don't know, what, you're 11 years old.
What are they gonna
12.
do? Jerk him off though? Like, how do you not jerk a man off and think this isn't wrong? This isn't
You know,
right.
one of the funniest things to ever watch that was Dateline to Catch a Predator.
That is
Yeah.
always
Oh.
a hoot.
My
They're rolling up. They're
God.
like, I got the coolers.
The guy that got butt naked sat on the stool. Then he comes out. He's like, well, you're already
Dude.
sitting down.
Can you imagine?
He said, that guy, the Dateline guy, the host of that show, I forgot his name.
Chris Hansen.
Chris Hansen. He went on Your Mom's House podcast and they talked about it. That's a great episode to listen to, by the way.
That-
Great episode. And they said that stool that guy sat naked on is a part of To Catch a Predator history, and like someone has that stool
hell
from
yeah.
the show. They still have that stool.
Hell yeah.
They're trying to bring it back potentially, which I hope they do. That was a great show.
Oh, it was so entertaining.
So
I
entertaining.
mean, it was really when they had that on back to back, and you're just sitting there, and it's like 10 o'clock, and all of a sudden you're like, "Wow, it's 1 a.m." And
You are just watching the cringiest people.
And he goes, "Sit down,
Sit
well,
down.
welcome." And then
I
they
bet, you have a
run.
sit- I bet you have a seat right there.
How about you have a seat right there?
Right
And
over there. So what's going on? What are you doing here?
what did you expect was going to happen tonight?
So you brought some condoms?
No,
and
no,
some
no,
rope?
no. I was,
Some
Duct
rope?
tape?
I was just gonna like it's
I
just,
wasn't gonna do it.
It's not for me.
It's not for me.
It's not for me. They asked me to bring it. So let's go ahead and I have your what do they call it? The whatever they had. I have what you said and during the conversations here with the 13-year-old boy. Turns out to be a 35-year-old man back there. I would love to do blah 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 blah.
Ugh.
That wasn't me.
Ugh.
Ugh.
Well, let's continue.
So gross.
And the fact he actually talks like that, by the way.
He does. Oh, so calm, cool, collect.
He's actually been like a part of. He talks about on there some like crazy journalistic stuff, like in the right place at the right time. He like when 9/11 hit. He was, I think, in Canada for something, and then they got him in a flight and got him down to 9/11, and then he got to see like the second plane go in, and he said, we were when the building started coming down, and I was with the FBI agents and stuff like that were there with us, and then like we all ducked behind into a shop, and a piece of when all this stuff started coming through, a piece of paper came through. And it was the boarding ticket of one of the terrorists. And he's like, we have that on record of like filmed everything. Like that's came out of nowhere. Boom. Of that happening. Like how crazy is that? Of that like one piece of paper came out of nowhere during that.
Well, it makes you wonder if I'm being 100% honest.
Yeah.
Because if a plane can disappear when running into the Pentagon completely due to jet fuel.
Yeah.
The likeliness of a piece of paper falling out of a plane that has crashed into something that also melted steel beams.
I like where this is going.
It feels like, did it fall out of the plane or was it planted in a bunch of debris?
Who's the conspiracy guy we got to have on?
I'm just saying that is one of the most shady fucking stories. If you are listening to this and you have no doubts about 9/11, if you are like, nope, what the government says is just all wrapped up, tidy-do, you're wrong. And I would urge you to do some research because you will be blown away. No. Understand.
How do you think it went down?
Well, here's the thing. I can't even begin to say that I know how it went down, but here's all I'll say. Look up what Building 7 is. Look up their theories on how the buildings fell. Look at the logic for how that perfect steel beam's cut. Look at the bombs as the building's falling and the way that the windows are being exploded underneath. Just look at all the facts and then tell me you're not like, and then read the story of what has officially happened. And you're like, that literally makes no sense. And then in the Pentagon, what they say is a plane literally crashed into the Pentagon and then disappeared due to jet fuel. Just burned up. Just disappeared. No.
All those cameras, we only have one camera view to catch the plane that went into it.
Right. There is literally, it is the most astronomically barbaric bullshit I've ever heard. And I mean, there's some conspiracy theories out there where you're like, that could not be true. But that is just so blatantly inaccurate.
And then the government was like, we'll hire the people that we think should build the 9/11 report. This is what happened.
And then here's what's crazy. You will talk to some people who are like, no, like that's crazy conspiracy that you're saying that. Like don't talk, like that's stupid. And you're like, how in the fucking world can some human being who can look at even a shred of the facts and say, yeah, that happened the way they said it happened?
Mm-hmm. JFK reports are coming out soon. They just delayed them.
Have you actually seen the images of the wreckage at the Pentagon? Because there is images of the plane wreckage for that. Do you ever, when you watch the conspiracy videos, do you ever watch Why They're Right too? Do you watch both documentaries?
So there's debris of a plane, but the size of the crash mark doesn't even come close to the size of the plane that they say crashed into it.
Right. So that's where there's inaccuracies and stuff. Like, so that's the thing to say. But there's also a plane there. It did not disappear.
There's parts of a plane. There's pieces of a plane.
Right.
But that don't add up to actually what would happen if a plane crashed into that.
And why do they? I've never been able to find more video of it going into the
other than that one angle.
That one that it's like spotty.
That doesn't going make any sense. Yeah.
Like there wasn't.
What are you talking about? To the Pentagon?
Yeah, there wasn't like a ton of CC cameras all around the Pentagon to show it going into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
Well, and there's pictures too of what happened after the bomb went off, supposedly in the Pentagon, and there's not as much debris. And then you can see after the bomb technically went off. And this is where I don't know if this is actually conspiracy or not. Because
when you say see the bomb go off, what bomb?
Supposedly there was a bomb that went off. So this is what I don't know actually to be true. This is all conjecture, right? This when you say what I think happened, I don't actually know. But a buddy of mine showed me one time a documentary that you could see a photo of what happened to the Pentagon right after the explosion, and then there was more explosions, and then there's like testimonies of people who heard the explosions go off. Like there was the one explosion, and then like a minute or a couple minutes later, they heard the multiple explosions. Like, and so people in the building, it wasn't like it getting hit; it was like.
But we know during a traumatic experience like that, eyewitness testimony is just as good as fucking trusting the internet.
Here's the only thing: take it just back to Building 7. That's the only thing that I get rooted in. Where
the
I'm
one weird one that comes out of that, you've seen the documentary where they were already filming that day with the fire department, and so that crew ended up. It was the two French guys ended up being there already, and they were walking around, went to Building 7, and then there was either I think DEA or CIA guy, like perfectly clean, was in like a bomb suit and like a radiation top, and like he was coming out and he was like, oh no, like I've been downstairs, like nothing's down there, like just you should probably get out. And he was like perfectly clean, and then like shortly after that, everything ended up coming down after that. That's like also one weird one that I think comes out of that.
weird shit.
I just think the answer is usually in the simpler, less complex theories. You know, like the plane really did hit the building. We know that.
100%. Don't disagree.
It totally is capable of melting steel and causing like a collapse on its own. That is factual as well. So
the only thing with that though is like completely agree. It could, yes, melt the metal, but the way that it came down, like why didn't it come
100%?
Like if it came in from this side, right? The structure of the building should be far worse on this side than it is on this side if the beams are stopping it going through. But why would it evenly
and if you
get
watch
crushed? Like why would the beams over here burn just as much and as fast as the ones over here? Why?
But it's not like they're going to have bombs all the way up here.
Watch detonation videos. So watch.
What you're talking about is the bottom from when that top is coming down and it's compressing and explode. There's pressure coming down. When all that's coming down, where do you think it's going to go? It's a big vacuum trap down there.
And this is where I could be wrong because, again, this is not something I've looked deeply in, but I think what the documentary points out is that before the collapse starts happening, you can see the windows blowing, and then you start to see the collapse as that's happening.
Yeah, the windows are going to blow out before the big beam things give out. That makes sense.
So the I see where you're coming from on that because I've seen the other side of that is that's the beams, the pressure of the beams breaking.
No, it's just the floor is compressing. That pressure is going to blow the windows.
Yes, that is the other side of that.
So we know that the plane can cause that. So I think the most likely scenario is like the government knows everything about everything. They knew that they had these training camps going on. They knew these guys would eventually strike.
The other piece that I've seen,
and they let them through. They just let it happen.
The other piece that I've seen before, which I've seen it on some documentaries and others that haven't, is that there were eyewitnesses of a bunch of black vans were pulling up for like a couple weeks before, saying they're working on the elevators, and they were going inside, and like no one really knew exactly what they were doing. Also, the guy that owns the Twin Towers, like the guy that owned the property in the Twin Towers, bought terrorist insurance very shortly before all that went down. That's on record too, that he bought terrorist insurance.
That's very suspicious.
Yeah.
Get that insurance for them Terrys.
So what do? They just like write in the contract, like they just find a comma and they're like terrorist 2.
Insured against planes crashing into the side of the building.
It's like making a bet, right? You go to the MGM casino and whatever, and you're like, I bet that guy's gonna break his leg tonight. I'll bet $20 and you give me $20,000 on that. That's pretty much what you're doing.
Man made a truckload of money investing in that Terry insurance.
Oh yeah, he made a lot of money out of that. For sure.
Very suspicious, or very intuitive. You know, smart, wealthy people are pretty. Got to be probably.
If you're good friends with the Rothschilds, you can get a lot of things in life.
It's scary how much wealth that family has.
Mm-hmm. Aren't they Aren't they like super weird too? Like they keep literally everything in the family. Like they've had incest like documentaries like across a board with them too, because they want to keep things in the family.
Well, think about like how weird it would be to be 6-7 generations deep on extremely extreme wealth.
Mm-hmm.
And to have kept it. So there's
To
some
have
sick
kept it.
dynamic of being like, hey, we're doing this right because we still have this.
Mm-hmm.
Grooming the upbringing.
Yeah, you can't. Your kids aren't messing up for the most part. Like,
This is like a well-oiled machine.
it's kind of like the royalty
Cool.
of like Britain, right? Like that's been going on for so many years. You just keep it.
Yeah, but that's supported by something. I don't know.
Can you
that's
imagine though? Just like you
trapped.
you being the beginning of a lineage and like molding your offspring to like carry this vision that you have of extreme wealth on. It's pretty tough.
Because you have to build that.
What's missing? I'd say love, because love likes to do dumb things.
Well, it depends on
Love
what
likes to
what
share.
your idea of love is,
I don't
right?
really-
And that because
you never hear about the Rothschilds just donating a tremendous.
They
doing
do.
it. You
Yeah.
do?
oh, they got to keep a good image
Yeah, they donate a lot of money.
in whatever country they're in.
Who knows what strings it
donate.
comes attached to, but they have a
But-
museum in the UK that's fucking crazy.
A museum about their family, just like this.
No,
is
it's
us.
just it's their family shit. Just like their family shit is fucking crazy.
This is the sock I nutted
You're
in
like-
for 15 years.
They built the museum to house their cool shit, so you could pay to look at it.
You're welcome.
Got to pay for that cool shit somehow.
I was like, damn. I saw a couple things, couple mummies.
Couple of the Rothschilds.
Yeah,
Really?
Miniflex.
dude, it's a full blown museum of like eclectic things from all over the world.
They
with
literally
families.
built like their pyramid.
Yeah,
And they're like, well, yeah, we're gonna build our
Fucking-
own.
nuts.
Are they Rothschild mummies or just actual mummies?
No, they're actual mummies.
I thought they were Rothschild ones. I like,
Yeah,
we're gonna
that's-
wrap up
Nah,
the Rothschild here, put them in there.
no, that's pretty hardcore, man. You imagine like boiling someone's brain and something pulling it through the nose.
Isn't that what they do in like Korea? You can, if you're in North Korea, the leader is like, he's mummified, and you can go see him presented. The
Different kind of mummification though. That they're just pumping you full of what?
How do they get their brain out? They boil your brain.
I don't know if they boiled the Egyptians. They definitely had this
put a straw up there.
long sticker where they would or scissor and they'd stick it up in there and pull your brain out or hook or something. Yeah, they
Scramble it around.
pull out your organs in your brain. And
Yeah, I guess you
stuff.
could. Yeah, you could just. I mean, cut, pull it out. I mean, they don't. Yeah, they're respecting you, but they're also like, we're gonna make this easy.
Yeah, some of your organs, they would
Organ meat's the most nutritious meat.
Liver King out.
Isn't that when they were like burying them too? They like sent them away with jewelry, horses, their
Yeah.
pets,
Yeah,
everything gets
fucking
in there.
murked their animals, and they mummified them too.
All of them.
That's right. Fuck them up.
You look at the wife, like, get in there.
Let's
Get
jelly-
on, you
let's
gotta
get
get in
jelly
there.
bean in this bitch.
Get in there.
You just
Oh.
mummified jelly bean so you can take him to the afterlife.
No, he'll come when he wants.
That's what she said.
Yeah, Jelly Bean's gonna be like, I didn't ask for any of this. Get out of here.
Oh,
Cats are like, we didn't ask for any of this. We controlled you, sucker.
they do, man. They control me. I love them.
It's pretty crazy that the Egyptians worshipped them as a god.
Dude, they worshipped everything.
I was about to say they
Yeah, that's
worship
true.
everything.
Yeah, we got a badass countertop god.
That's right. That's right.
Hey, that sun thing, the moon,
Don't forget about the one with the big penis.
6.
the river god, the grass
The god,
god,
agriculture
flowers,
god.
sugar god.
Hey, you know what? Here's the thing. There's also going to probably be a Michael God.
That was the taxes back then. You got to pay your taxes of the gods.
Gods.
And you push it underneath the thing, and then someone on the other end takes it out.
Like a
High
glory
tax.
hole. You just stick it through the hole.
You're
and hope-
sticking
you-
your sugar and stuff underneath
you
there.
hope it's received well. You just stick it through the hole and just hope to God. On
What
the
is
other end.
received well? What does that even mean? By what?
You get rain.
You
You,
just
get
hope-
rain. We got
you
some
just-
rain. It was received well. It was received well.
You just hope to
Oh,
God.
I'm saying so when you're talking about your glory, are you digging that in the dirt?
What are you talking about?
I just
I was trying to figure out. How's the glory hole working back there with the offerings? Yeah, tell us what.
So it wasn't a bathroom stall.
No. It's the stall of life.
Stall of life.
It's like a hut.
No, it's like, here's the thing. It's a lot easier to get tax money when you're just saying that you're doing it for God. So just tithe your money, 10%, by the way.
First 10%.
First 10%. Don't you worry about that. And
Never give God your last 10%.
No, God.
You're like arguing with your wife. Back then, she's like, "Go pray to bro. Go give your tax."
Go give some money to Jesus so we can resolve this. All right. Jesus is not favoring us right now. You got to go give them some money so he will favor us.
Honey, we're doing good. You don't have to keep going back. I have to.
I have to pay him more. Otherwise, you keep fighting
more.
Yeah, you wouldn't believe this man wants everything.
More.
All of me.
More.
Our God is an awesome God. He reigns.
More. I want more.
Down on heaven, our God.
How many times was it? 25 times? More. 50 times?
More.
100 times?
More than that.
500 times?
More.
Probably.
Raise hell, raise hell.
Probably.
What a time to be alive that was a thing. Oh, I love when you come on the podcast.
Dude, giggles all around. I've been telling people, man, I'm gonna start my new fitness program. By the way, TM, this is my like trademark. So if you
exclusive
try to take this, I'm gonna take you to court. But it's called Michael's. Yeah, fuck out of here. It's called Michael's Laughaholics. And just like that, I give people abs by making them laugh. And welcome to my fitness program. Thank you. You see how whole time they've been laughing?
Instead of sawdust afterwards, it's glory holes.
Glory holes and Laughaholics. Welcome to my new business venture.
Oh man, I want some donuts.
Ooh, some chocolate with some of that.
Oh man, sorry folks.
All right. On that note, let's wrap this donut up, baby.
Let's wrap the donut up, folks. Keep listening. Thank you for listening. Share with your loved ones. Share with your friends. Share with your family. Share with the ones you want everyone to know. We're growing. You're growing with us. We'll get you on the next one.
By the way,
pressure's on.
Oh, I was gonna say something with Krispy Kreme, but
we rarely stop.
Anyway, my Instagram handle, Michael Hammock at
Let's go ahead and shut him off.